Good morning, this is Ed Waida, Senior Brand Manager at Smithfield Culinary. I'm so glad you had the opportunity to come by because today I'd like to take you on a journey I think you'll really enjoy. It's a culinary adventure to explore the worldwide flavors and trends that are exciting today's customers. Because as food lovers expand their taste to include more ethnically influenced dishes, we're sure you want to be there to help satisfy those cravings.
And that's where Smithfield Culinary comes in. Our Global Taste Initiative presents you with the products, insights, and ideas to bring a global flair to a variety of customer offerings, from breakfast to barbecue to snacking. I'm Emily King, an Associate Brand Manager at Smithfield Culinary. Next up, here's a sampling of some of the facts we've uncovered about the rising popularity of global foods. As you can see, consumer appetite for global tastes and trends is on the rise. And much of that can be attributed to the shifting demographics of the country, leading to an exploration of new cuisines. And operators are reacting, from QSRs to fast casual to upscale restaurants. Consumers don't seem to mind finding global foods from non-ethnic operators. Now, with the help of our partner chefs, we'll be showing you a variety of trends, innovations, and consumer preferences that hopefully will inspire your own global culinary creativity. Okay, now it's time to grab your passport to delicious and take off for some global taste adventures with Smithfield Culinary. Pork has always been a breakfast staple, and since breakfast is now being served any time of day, the versatility of pork makes it a perfect star of any dish, including ethnically inspired meals. So let's take a look at breakfast around the world and learn about the delicious flavors, spices, and many forms that breakfast takes on, and understand the role of pork and other meats. I hope you enjoy as Smithfield Culinary presents The Breakfast Boom Goes Global.
They want to be adventurous.
They want to try new and exciting things.
It's modern, exciting, and inspiring.
It brings pizzazz to your menu.
America is a melting pot.
Think of a dish that you're familiar with and then work backwards from there. You know, you can sub out, instead of tomato paste, you might be able to sub in gochujang, which is a Korean chili paste.
Because of the adventure aspect of the new millennials, as well as the people who are eating these ethnic food, they are interested in what is there more to offer.
Bowls have become very popular, just especially people can share it amongst each other, and also it's comfort in one dish.
I am drizzling a little bit of maple syrup on the bacon. We're going to be doing lingonberry syrup with that and orange pecan butter too, so that'll kind of give it that extra little Swedish flair.
That's beautiful.
Let's talk chorizo then. A lot of times in the Mexican culture, they'll say, okay, what do we put chorizo in? Do we put it in the beans? Do we put it in the eggs? Or do we put it in the potatoes? With this bowl, I'm just going to top it so it covers all of them.
So what I'm trying to do is kind of create flavor memories for myself, but then make it approachable, make it something that other people can see and kind of relate to.
So it's more Peruvian and Chilean?
Yeah, Chilean and Argentinian.
And Argentinian.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity to bring protein into that cuisine, right?
Yeah, especially with a great product from Smithfield, I think it's just amazing how I can showcase and make it the star with what we're doing.
So the meat and potato time has gone, so that has evolved a lot, and I think because of the ethnicities those are coming here, that's helping it a lot. Plus, we're talking about millennials, so they want flavor, because we just don't want bland food.
Now I'm hungry. Ready to introduce one of our talented associates, Chef Michael Ponzio, Executive Chef at the Union League Club of Chicago. Chef Ponzio was an integral part of the development of our global initiative, so here's Chef Michael presenting The Breakfast Boom Goes Global.
Hey, I'm Chef Michael Ponzio. You know, breakfast is so much more than bacon and eggs, and our customers, they're willing to step outside their comfort zone now, try new things. They're looking for exciting, new experiences and flavors. And breakfast is the perfect and most comfortable meal period to introduce that. Now, according to the majority of chefs, ethnic-inspired foods, especially in breakfast arenas, are considered one of the hottest trends today. Perhaps the least surprising concept right now is portability. And you know, take the pandemic aside, our customers are living such a fast-paced life and they're on the go and instant gratification and moving. They don't have time to have breakfast at home. So I've got to have a breakfast dish that's globally inspired and portable. And honestly, the first thing that always comes to mind with portability is a burrito. Because if you have a breakfast line, all you really need is flour, tortillas, and you got everything there. So there's this perception among consumers that many global cuisines are actually healthier. And you know, this is especially true at breakfast, the meal that starts your day. There's an opportunity to tap into this with ethnically inspired breakfasts. Leading us here, consumers want spicy flavor, so add some heat. Lots of great hot pepper pastes from around the world. Ají amarillo, Calabrian chili, gochujang, harissa, sambal. A little goes a long way for your breakfast dishes. Okay, so we're making a simple braised pulled pork, and we're gonna use a white wine chicken stock based braise with some mirepoix, a little bit of fennel, rosemary, and we're gonna let this all stew together for about 2.5 hours until it gets super, super tender. First thing we wanna do is cut our vegetables. So we're gonna cut our onion up, carrots, celery, our fennel. And now that we have all our vegetables, I'm just gonna give a quick smash to the garlic. Now you can see I'm using a lot of vegetables in this recipe. I love all the sweetness and all the complementary flavors that the vegetables are going to introduce to the braise. First thing we need to do is season the pork butt. And I like just a nice seasoning of salt on the pork butt. What that's going to do is allow the natural pork flavor to really shine and really pop and not have it overwhelmed with a ton of other flavors. Now over a high heat, I'm going to add a little bit of oil. I want just enough oil to coat and glaze the bottom of the pan. Once I know my oil is hot enough, I'm gonna add the pork in. I wanna get a nice golden brown color on both sides of this pork. And this may take some time, so be patient. Let it do its thing. You don't wanna rush it and move it around and lose all that sear on the pork, because all that caramelization is all the flavor that's gonna come out of the pork. I'm gonna take the vegetables and put them all in here. Now at this point, I'm turning my temperature down to like a medium. I want the vegetables to stew and slowly soften and caramelize, allow those natural sugars to come out. But what's also happening is, as they're cooking, they're releasing water. And what the water does, it picks up that caramelization on the bottom of the pan and actually incorporates that more and more into the vegetables in the dish. So it's gonna have this hybrid marriage of just flavor and sweetness and porkiness. Now at this point, since the vegetables have kind of softened and sweetened up and stewed down, we're gonna add some white wine to deglaze it. The temperature goes back up and the wine goes in. And I wanna reduce that wine by half to cook the alcohol out of the wine. That's very important because you don't want a very alcoholic, very harsh dish. You want something that's soft and has the sweetness of the wine without all the acidity and all the burn from the alcohol. Now once the wine's reduced by about half, we're gonna add the chicken stock, just enough to come up to almost fully covering the pork. Now what I want to do is add my fresh herbs, because now that there's a liquid, the herbs are actually going to fragrance and perfume the liquid, and that's going to work its way into the pork as it cooks. So we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to cover it with foil and put it in a 275-degree oven for about 2.5 hours, and we'll check for tenderness along the way. So our pork's been in the oven for about 2.5 hours. Let's take a look at it and see how it's doing. Oh, wow. Okay, so I put my fork in, should see how it just kind of starts to come apart. That's what we're looking for. That is fantastic pork. Now here's the most important part, and this is what's going to be the difference between you having a dry pulled pork and just a delicious, succulent, incredible pulled pork. Do not take it out of this liquid. What's going to happen, if I pull this out of this liquid right now, you see all the steam that's escaping here. Well, all this steam is moisture leaving the meat. So what I want to do is leave it in the liquid, and I'm actually going to put the cover back on. So what ingredients do we need to make this absolutely fantastic, amazing Mexican sauce? Well, the first one you need are Guajillo chilies, and you can get these at most grocery stores, honestly. They're in the Mexican aisle or the Latin foods aisle. So I take the Guajillos and I toast them in a dry pan. And this is over a medium-high heat. What I'm looking to do is get a little bit of color on these guys, but really open them up and bring that flavor out and bring those aromas out. So the chilies go into a bowl, and then we're going to pour some water on top. You just need enough water to fully submerge the chilies, and I'm going to let these sit for about a half an hour while we prepare the other vegetables for the sauce. The rest of the ingredients are super simple to make this sauce: onion and garlic. So I'm going to dice my onion up because I don't want it taking too much time to cook, and I want some time for it to soften and bring the sweetness out of the onion. And with the garlic, because I want it to cook at the same time, I'm just going to smash the garlic. Okay, so now that our chilies have soaked for about a half an hour, we're going to cook our vegetables. We want just a little bit of oil in the pan. Over a medium-high heat, I'm going to add my onions and my garlic and let this just stew down. My goal isn't to get a bunch of caramelization on here, but I want it to slowly cook down and bring out a lot of those sugars and that sweetness, because that's what's going to complement the chili and just give an amazing sauce. So I'm going to add the onions and garlic to the blender. Then I'm going to take the guajillos that I've been soaking and just pull the stem off. Drop these guys right in the blender too. So I'm going to add about a half a cup of the liquid to start. Oh my goodness. This smells incredible. And there you have it. All right, so now it's time to make our Chipotle cheddar biscuits. What we have here is flour, baking powder, sugar, and salt. I'm going to mix this up just so it's a nice, even mix. For the next step, I'm going to take some butter and just crumb it into the flour mix. Next goes buttermilk, chopped up cheddar cheese, and some diced up chipotle peppers. I'm going to come in and mix this till it all comes together to just be a nice, beautiful dough. The cheese and the chipotle should be mixed throughout the dough. Now that the dough's come together, I'm going to get this on the board and roll it out. Take my rolling pin and just slightly roll it out. I want nice, thick, big biscuits. Now I'm going to cut these beauties out. And now these things are going to bake at 400 degrees for about 15-20 minutes. So our last part are our garnishes. First thing we're going to do is make a lime sour cream. This is a very difficult recipe. We're going to add sour cream and lime zest. Stir it up till it's nice and incorporated. And let this sit for about an hour till the flavors infuse. Last thing we need is a green onion, which we're just going to cut on the bias for some garnish and flavor to add to our dish. We're going to take our pulled pork and get it into a pan. Mix in a little bit of this amazing Guajillo sauce, and we're going to get this on the stove. I just want to heat this enough so that the sauce fully coats the pork and the pork starts to absorb some of the sauce. All right, let's take a look at our biscuits and see where we're at. These things look incredible. Now that our biscuits are done, we have our Guajillo pulled pork, our fried egg, lime sour cream, green onions. Let's start to build an incredible takeout container. So first thing we're going to do is get the container. We're going to take 2 of these great Chipotle cheddar biscuits. We're going to smother them with this Guajillo pulled pork. You get plenty of this sauce on there so that the biscuits can sop up some of that sauce as well. Next, a fried egg, a dollop of the lime sour cream, and a garnish of some green onions. Nice, beautiful, portable, and absolutely delicious. For our next stop on the journey, we'll be exploring cuisine that is found on more menus than you can imagine, and that's because people can't get enough of it, and that's barbecue. For this leg of the journey, I am excited to pass the baton to Chef Brian West. Chef Brian is a former pitmaster, and he'll be presenting Barbecue Means the World. Take it away, Chef Brian.
Thank you, Chef Ponzio. For centuries, people around the world have gathered to enjoy pork and other meats cooked over open flame. And when you think of it, making great barbecue really hasn't changed much over time. Furthermore, our obsession with barbecue has even gotten more intense. With continuing customer appetite for new, interesting ethnic flavors, an opportunity arises to create smoky barbecue dishes with a global influence to keep barbecue fresh and exciting. Join me as Smithfield Culinary takes a look on how barbecue means the world.
Barbecue is a cuisine family with a unique history that exists in various forms from dozens of cultures around the world. From country to country, the components are similar, but the magic comes from those smaller local details like variations in preparation, cooking methods, and equipment.
Ki te kore koe mōhio no whea koe, e kore koe mōhio e haere ana koe ki whea, ka ngaro.
It means community is what barbecue means, and there's a community of us that are still keeping it alive.
要は火を使ってお肉を焼くっていうのは多分人間だけなのかな。そこがなんか人の始まりかもしれないし。
Яг ингээ бөөнөрөө суугаад ингээд нэг сайхан бодгоё гэдэг ингээ ихээр цаана амт нь үртэл шалганд очдог.
That's Waida's. That's a barbecue. It brings people together.
We all barbecue, right? And we're all different cultures. You know, what is barbecue to you?
For me, barbecue is definitely family and community in its purest form, you know, fire and food, man.
When you're working with fire like that, you know, there's a closer connection to the food.
If you think of some of the best moments growing up, it's always had to do with what? Barbecue, birthdays, baptisms.
Memory.
When I create something for other folks is I want to invoke that feeling. I want to touch your heart, and I'm able to touch your soul.
When people hear barbecue, they relax. What a better way to introduce global flavors.
You know, what's trending now I see is ethnic cuisine and ethnic flavors.
Being versatile attract customers. They trust us and they want to come back for more.
I think the food service industry is catching on to that, seeing, hey, we can use Peruvian or we can use Jamaican and make a really cool melting pot and these dishes that someone's not intimidated to try everything. If you go to the streets of Mexico, Mexico City, Oaxaca, Saltillo, Monterrey, they have empanadas. And these empanadas, we're gonna actually use the Smithfield barbacoa that's pre-made. It's basically open, set it and forget it kind of style.
Using some of the Smithfield products, you know, I'm able to coax those nuances from the pork and kind of marry that with these big, bright, beautiful flavors from Southeast Asia.
This dish I use Smithfield Dural black pork. This is such a great product because there's a texture and a very tender, just enough amount of fat so that you can enjoy the pork flavor, and it's a perfect size.
I'm not just looking at pork chops from Memphis, but I'm looking at pork chops from Korea. I think that the customers appreciate that level of research.
They have to taste it, they have to feel you.
When I say I have a Peruvian restaurant in Chicago, you know, people are going to want to ají amarillo and ají panca and really deliver on and what I've promised.
We can offer the simple entertainment for the customer. When they come to the restaurant and dine in, they want to have a good time. They want to build a memory.
Good stuff. Let's take a closer look before I get to demonstrating a few recipes. Traditional barbecue will always be a staple on menus, but people are always looking for new and surprising variations to tempt their palate. And while we're all familiar about how American barbecue is generally cooked, ethnic barbecue is frequently sold on the street and can be found roasting or grilling over burning embers. Skewered meats like char siu are gaining traction on menus in America, as customers are continually tempted by the smells of global barbecue. Globally inspired, low, slow barbecue can still be achieved without a smoker. High-quality pre-cooked and smoked meats deliver an authentic smoked experience. As in classic American barbecue, pork plays a delicious role in creating barbecue inspired by worldwide flavors. And that's because pork is readily available in most countries. And its naturally neutral flavor is perfect because it absorbs and enhances smoke, spices, and sauces. Hi, this is Chef Brian West, and I'm going to be demoing a beautiful brisket grilled cheese, also known as a grown-up grilled cheese. I've got this wonderful Smithfield Curly's brisket, smoked brisket. Again, this has been pre-smoked, pre-cooked. It's actually perfect and ready to be for slice. What's cool about this particular dish is that I can use some of the offcuts for this sandwich because it's not going to be center of the plate in a sense on a normal barbecue presentation. But I'm going to go ahead and slice this up. Let's see, I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to take off the cap here. Right here. That's where a lot of the fat is. You can see that beautiful fat is all juicy, and you can see the nice smoke ring that's in here. Why I'm taking off the cap is this is going to be a little bit of the fattier meat, and I think that's really going to show well with that thick, rich cheese and the barbecue sauce I'm going to put on there. I'm going to take a little bit of the bark. Beautiful. One more. I'm not getting super thick, but I'm not going crazy roast beef thin either. So I've got some great looking slices here that I'm going to use off here. I'm going to save this for another dish that we're going to be doing a little later today. This is a really good piece for what we call chop. So you can dice this up and mix this up and put it into all sorts of garnishes on French fries, things like that. This is where I like to get the majority of my slice over here, and then any scraps would then become your pool later on that you can also introduce into any other type of dish that you'd want to do. So what we're going to be doing is I've got this beautiful sliced brisket ready to go, smoked, perfectly tender. I've got some nice barbecue sauce, a classic Texas barbecue sauce, which is going to be a little ketchupy and spicy, really delicious. I've got some pickles just to add a little acidity to help cut through a lot of this richness and fat that's going to be in here. I selected 3 different cheese for this. I made a homemade mozzarella cheese that I made a little earlier, fresh mozzarella. I've got a nice Munster cheese. This is going to add a little bit of nuttiness and kind of spread some of these cheeses out. This will get your creamy and stretch. This will add your nuttiness. I think you're going to naturally need to get some sort of a American style cheese just so you can get that nice stretch in addition for it. Also, you're looking for a little color, texture, and that cheddary flavor that's going to be in the background. I've got some butter, room temperature, ready to go. And then I went ahead and got a nice challah bread. You can use all types of breads for this particular dish, but I think something a little bit thicker that's going to tighten up a little bit. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. Is going to be really nice too. Here in the middle. You can see in this challah bread, it's nice and spongy, so you're able to get a nice thick, absorbent piece. You get one, take another one off the other. Great. Okay, so the key to this grilled cheese sandwich, there's a lot of philosophy behind it. I like to stick with the tried and true method of buttering both sides. Some people actually say that you put mayonnaise on the outside, and that actually helps give it a little bit of twang and browning. I've tried it. I have not accomplished what they say that you can accomplish with that. So I'm going to go back to the old-fashioned, the way my grandmother used to do it, and that's just slather it with quite a bit of butter. Now what you're hoping this to do is the butter to melt and fry the surface simultaneously. And I'm spreading the butter all the way to the outside, and I'm putting it on pretty thick. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off with my Munster. Again, this is nuttiness here. Some could argue that it might get a little lost in the sandwich because of all the aggressive cheeses. I would say not. I would say it kind of spreads out some of the aggressive flavors and thins them out a little bit. We're gonna put a little bit of each cheese on here. Turn the surface. And we're gonna get kind of aggressive here as we're pushing this down. Okay, then I'm gonna start piling on my brisket. Again, this smells incredible. There. Looks great. And then we're going to put in the reverse order of the cheese that I just did. There's a pickle in here, just like an old-fashioned Cuban. With the Munster. Just a scotch of the barbecue, just for a little bit of twang. Spiciness. We'll also serve this with barbecue sauce on the side. More cheese. And more cheese. Trying to pick up some of this butter that's on here. Okay, so we're going to try to mash this in together as best as possible. This is a huge monster sandwich. Good luck taking a bite out of this thing. All right. Okay, so we've got this down. I'm just going to want to set the cheese here and set the crust on this sandwich. So we're going to go ahead and flip it a little bit early. And I've got a fairly low heat on here, and what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get that cheese to melt in. But now that I've actually kind of set the crust, if you will, on this surface, I can start pushing it down much like you would do a Cubano cheese or a Cubano sandwich. So this thing is looking beautiful. All the cheese is nice and gooey and happy. I cooked this nice and slow, just so that it would really melt up all of that cheese. And we are ready to go to the plate. Okay, here we go. We're going to slice it straight down. Okay. And that little guy looks fantastic. You can see all that gooiness coming out. This just came out amazing. The challah bread was actually a great call on my part. I've got this beautiful sandwich we just finished. Again, it's the Curly's brisket, grilled cheese or adult grilled cheese. We've got the Curly's brisket in there, sliced, smoky and delicious. Mozzarella, Munster. We've got a good old American cheese in there, some sliced pickle, and a little barbecue sauce for flavor. We just made a small little tomato salad with just a little olive oil, salt and pepper, and I'm just going to drizzle on a little bit more of this barbecue sauce on here. I am going to try this thing because I just cannot stand it anymore. Here we go. That is amazing. That is so good. Got the smokiness from the brisket. It's absolutely wonderful. I just bit right through it. It was so nice and tender. All the cheeses are playing well together. That little sharpness of the pickle, barbecue sauce. Absolutely a beautiful thing. For our next stop, we take a look at a category of food that everyone around the world, young and old, from morning to night, enjoys in some way or form, snacking. And who better to be our guide in this fun segment than Chef Michael Gulotta. Chef Gulotta's specialty is marrying flavors from Southeast Asia and Louisiana. And his restaurants all feature a section of protein-packed smaller portions. So here's Chef Michael presenting Snack on Beyond Borders.
Thanks, Chef Wes. Snacking is a worldwide obsession, from street carts in Southeast Asia to tapas bars in Spain. Americans love exploring different cuisines, and featuring small bites is a great way to introduce new flavors into your kitchen and to bring in new customers. The richness and versatility of pork can do so much for your kitchen, not to downplay beef or chicken, which can obviously be found in so many street carts and roadside vendors, from dumplings to skewers. For more on global snacking, let's take a look at Smithfield Culinary's Snack on Beyond Borders.
Snacking happens all the time. We snack at breakfast, we snack for brunch, we snack in the afternoon.
People are not just breakfast, lunch, and dinner anymore. People are always on the move.
Between lunch and dinner, people want a snack. They want to have a glass of wine and a snack, or a beer and a snack.
Across the board, people are becoming more adventurous in dining, but especially with the younger generation, they're kind of seeking out different flavors, different cultures. With the older demographic, it's kind of leading them to be more adventurous, and with the younger demographic, we're bringing them in because they're feeling adventurous already.
And that's where global snacking comes in. You have such a global community that's developing in our world these days, and you're seeing so many cultures and diverse cuisines emerging, and they're melding with each other, which is America in a pot, so to speak.
And when people are shy to try something new, they'll go to a snack of an Asian dish or a Japanese dish or a Latin dish.
Makes the menu interesting. I mean, that's what I feel. I mean, you
and fun.
Exactly, a fun and interesting, and for customers to come in, oh, this looks great, this looks exciting. Oh, this is something that I've never tried, let me try.
And the fusion of it as well, taking different countries and fusing it together, taking some Mediterranean flavors, but using Japanese techniques. I mean, that's so hip right now, and people are all over that.
From Tex-Mex to Asian Cajun to Mediterranean, whatever have you, It seems that's where the market's going.
It's important for operators to put this type of global inspired snacks on their menu, because it's only going to gain in popularity and draw more people into your establishment.
I was in Latin America, I was in Asia, I was in Middle East, and when I design menus or snacks, I kind of try to build on those.
Techniques from different parts of the world and spices from different parts of the world, using stuff we're all familiar with. The normal proteins and vegetables, and sometimes exotic too.
Everyone's seen the same snacks we've been doing for 50 years. I think it's time that people want something different. I also think, for this younger generation, they want something like snack activities, like things that are interactive at the table.
People like interactive food.
It's like crafting for foodies.
The more thinking you can do for the guest, the easier the experience will be.
Somebody who might have just come for one beer now is ordering 2 plates or 3 plates. They will not go for 2 entrees, we know that. They might go for 1 salad and 1 entree, and that's pretty much it. But they might go for 3 small plates, and that's where our edge is.
The whole ritual of nibbling while you're drinking can increase your alcohol sales. It can increase the your food sales. If they're having fun, they're going to stay a little bit longer and spend more money.
All right, that made me hungry. Let's take a moment to review our definition of snacking. We define it as anything eaten outside of traditional meal times and generally in smaller portions. For the most part, snacks need to be prepared quickly, as about half of all snacking occasions occur on the way to work. Interesting to note that 18 to 34-year-olds are eating more spicy snacks, which is a signal of global desires. Snackers are continually enjoying late-night snacks more often. This means protein-filled bar snacks to fuel them up and keep them going. As today's consumer looks for more protein in their diet, including snacks, meats are a perfect way to add protein, but in smaller portions. Asian fusion is as strong as ever. We're doing it every day. Take a novel sauce from Southeast Asia, incorporate it into something that you already know and love, and use that to drive excitement among your customers. Into the blender, I am placing Szechuan peppercorn, black peppercorns, whole clove. I'm going to put the lid on and grind them until fine. Next, I'm adding 2 cloves of garlic, some seasoned rice wine vinegar, honey, and some coconut milk. I'm going to blend this to a fine paste. And then add in my mayonnaise and cilantro leaf. I'm going to blend this lightly, but not over whip it. I'm also going to finish it with a touch of fish sauce for salt and umami. Now to make our crust, I will take the fried garlic, the puffed rice, crispy shallots, black and white sesame seed, sliced dried Thai chili, minced lemongrass, sliced cilantro, leaves and stems, and thinly sliced green onion. I'm going to mix these together until they are well incorporated. Now to make the tempura batter, I will crack 2 eggs, add in some turmeric, a pinch of salt, and I'm going to whisk this together to fully incorporate the turmeric to get rid of any lumps. I am now adding some dry tempura mix and just enough cold water to form a nice paste. It's okay if the batter is a little lumpy. I'm now dredging the pork wings in some of the dry tempura mix. You can also use cornstarch for this. The pork wings will now go from the dry mix into the turmeric tempura batter, and then gently placed into 350-degree oil, swishing around and then letting drop so that it does not stick to the bottom. It will fry for 5 minutes at 350 degrees or until hot all the way through. To a hot saute pan, I'm adding some honey. We want to bring it up over medium-high heat until it begins to reduce and froth. Once it is frothy, we will fold in the fried buffalo wings to coat. Reducing the honey a bit first makes it extra sticky. I am now rolling the honey glazed wing in the Thai chili crust. To plate, I will crust 2 of the tempura fried pork wings and place a small container of the Szechuan white barbecue sauce on the side. Alternate plating. To plate, I will spread a large circle of the Szechuan white barbecue on the bottom of the plate, and then place 2 Thai crusted pork wings on top. Okay, we're back. Let's get a final word on global cuisine from Smithfield Culinary Zone, Ed Waida.
Thanks, Chef Michael, and welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed our presentation, Global Taste Adventures with Smithfield Culinary. We hope we've shown you how ethnically inspired dishes, from breakfast to barbecue to snacks, can help diversify your menu and take customers on a global adventure that they're anxious to experience today. And that's what we try to do here at Smithfield Culinary every day. We inspire you so you can take a break out of the pack and have an advantage in the marketplace.